Hello guys, and in today's YouTube video we're going to be going over, I actually do not remember what week it is. Let me check really quick while I'm recording this. Very professional. Week 28, my fault. Anyway, here we go. We're going to be going over week 28 of Trials of Osiris for Season of the Plunder. And we have one more week left, by the way, after this. So this will be next week will be the 29th week and final week for Season of the Plunder. And that will be, well, that won't be the 28th actually, or 20, whatever. It's going to be the 28th episode or whatever, I believe, of the TWIT that I have started to record episodically at the end of every week. And obviously this isn't throughout the entirety of Trials and Destiny 2. It's mainly when I started recording them. So episode 28, 29 will be next week, and that will be the final episode till, you know, when Trials comes out again, which will probably be a while from now. So anyway, this week to start off, we did not get World's First. We unfortunately played a really good team, Cruiser and them, on Cauldron, and they just had more Titans, and honestly, that's kind of the meta now. As many of you are going to find out very soon, the meta is basically Titan. Like, it's like shoot through shield Titan, Peregrine Greaves, it's just Titan, pretty much. There's not really any reason to have Kepris anymore, with Lorentz and Arbalest being nerfed, because I feel like it's tougher to secure sniper kills than it was with, I mean, it's still easy, but it's not as good as it once was. So you're definitely going to see a lot more Titans coming in this next week, and the 29th week of the TWIT, in the final week of Season of the Plunder. You're going to see a lot of Titans, more so than you have seen previously. I feel like, especially depending on the map, but yeah, the new meta is very funky, very, very funky, and it honestly, like, has kind of been created over the course of this weekend. Realistically, the first player or team, like Kara Dennis has been using, like I'm saying his name right, he's been using Titans for quite a while, and this weekend, you know, he popped off with it against Cursor and them. Like, he beat him twice in a row, and, you know, then I tried it out, and I think a lot of other top players are using it now as well, and it is very good, especially if you're running 3 of them. There's like almost nothing better than it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. You basically just run like Bubble Titan and 2 Thunder Crashes. You have the Storm Mage, you have shoot through shields. It's something, man. And I mean, shields, in my opinion, have been a problem in terms of their cooldowns. Like, you get, I think it's like a 15-second cooldown with Titans, which is like unbelievable. I don't know if that's accurate. I haven't actually done the testing myself, and I'm probably going to do some testing in terms of like everything regarding like the actual like numbers when it comes to, like, you know, the shoot through shield and like how much health it has and all that stuff, because I don't know those things off the top of my head, and that's going to be good information for me to know, and for me to let you guys know in the future, given that is going to be the meta. And as I'm sure you're probably going to experience a lot of top 1% players using that. Mind you, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be matching top 1% players. Anyway, I don't know how to feel about this meta. I feel like the meta is probably in the most balanced spot it's been in a long time, and that's kind of why we have certain things being like rising to the top, because it's typically, obviously, what's going to happen is there's like things that are like decent but slightly better than a lot of other things. And I will say that I feel like there's a lot more weapon variety to some degree. Like, I mean, well, I'm looking at the weapons for the week, and maybe I shouldn't have said that, but Drang is still like the top primary, like, at least in Trials. It got the most kills. Sidearms got the most kills. Oh man, that's, I don't know, the meta's in a weird spot. It's not like Lorentz Arbalest anymore, but it's more like, you know, Drang, Shira's, like Funnel Web, Chaperone, No Time to Explain, Forerunner, things like that. Like, the meta's in a very weird spot right now, and it's different. And I think, honestly, the meta might not even be shoot through shield, but from what I can tell, that was the meta. So, and I don't think that it's probably going to be any different. I mean, I think this week as well, it could have heavily been shoot through shields being like meta, because of the fact it's zone control and you're able to really play around like the zones. But I don't know, it's strange. The game's in a very weird spot. I think we're in that period of time where like no one really knows exactly what the meta is quite yet, and everyone's kind of figuring that out. And I don't know, it's very, very interesting indeed right now. I hope like, I just want to go back to using hand cannon shotgun, and I don't think that time is ever going to come ever again. And I think we're going to be waiting like till the end of eternity for that. I think the game is always going to kind of like, I think they've just diminished the skill gap in a lot of regards, and we're just never going to get back to that. We might, but I find it very hard to believe, and I'm certainly not betting on it. And I think part of the reason that is because they've put every weapon into like their subcategory. Like every weapon has a purpose, more so than it ever has right now. And like at the really close range, you know, it's, I think that's the biggest thing, is like there's just not really any weapon in the game that's like effective at every range. Like at close range, you can use No Time to Explain, right? Really good at long to medium, horrible at close. You're gonna get burned up by like a sidearm or an SMG at close range. And if you try to use a sidearm and SMG at long range, No Time to Explain is gonna burn you up. And if you try to use a hand cannon, you're either gonna get burned up by No Time to Explain at long to medium, or a sidearm or a SMG at close to mid. So I mean, it's just, hand cannons like have such a finite sweet spot where they just aren't able to like really compete anymore as much, because it's so easy to close the gap with sidearms and SMGs. And I feel like it's really easy to kind of play distance with pulses and stuff. Like it takes a lot more skill, and honestly oftentimes is like just not even like manageable to like outplay good players using meta stuff when you're using the hand cannon, because it's just so difficult. Like the amount of positioning and like you need to like hit all your shots. It's just insane like how difficult it is to play that way now, because of how good everything else is. And like the thing is a lot of these really good teams, like these stack teams, and that's typically where I get all of my like builds that I'm using from, is from them, because you know I want to be able to compete against them, because you know quite frankly all of them run the same shit. Like we all understand that that's what the game is. You know, if you want to compete at a high level, at least in trials, there's no like, oh, morality, I gotta use the hand cannon shotgun to play the moral high ground so I'm not like gross, or so people aren't upset about me killing them. Like they don't give a fuck. They're playing to win. They don't give a fuck how much you cry. They don't care what the fuck you think. They are rolling your shit, they are getting the dub, and that's it. They're moving on with their lives. They don't give a fuck. And, you know, I try to play the same way at this point, because quite frankly, it doesn't matter if I'm using hand cannon shotgun and on the moral high ground. All that matters to them, and honestly in reality, is whether or not we win, to me personally. So that's kind of typically why, or just kind of why I've kind of taken this turn from using like, you know, morality, like hand cannon shoddy, you know, hunter for years and years and years, and now I'm just like playing to win, because it's just, it is impossible to beat those really good teams if I am not doing that. And I just don't see the point in the morality anymore at this point. Like it just is exhausting playing the game that way, on top of the fact that like it's exhausting playing the game that way. Like I love playing that way, but the reality is not everyone's going to do that, and oftentimes most people actually aren't going to do that. So but you know, then again, there's the people, it's a vicious cycle, man. It is a very vicious cycle, because there's the people that don't get that. There's the people that just like are up on their high horse, and it's maldy. It's very maldy. This game is in a very strange position. Like it was, I don't know, it's, I just don't have words for it. Anyway, ultimately, I didn't even mention it yet, but the zones were fucked up on this week. There was guys cheating like for hours straight. Like I don't even think they're banned yet. I figure a lot of that stuff was probably as a result of Bungie not like it being a holiday weekend, so they weren't really, they were like, yeah, we'll just not fix the map, and you know, other just them being gone. Like that's kind of why the cheaters probably didn't get banned. I don't know what's going on with that though. I can't believe the anti-cheat doesn't pick that stuff up. Very surprising to me. Like I can't believe people are able to like fly around the map, have infinite heavy, infinite ammo, just like go crazy, fire guns like at 1,000 rounds per minute, just like every gun, like sniper rifles, sidearms, grenade launchers, rockets, and like the anti-cheat doesn't pick that up. Like that is unbelievable to me. Or just like get infinite super and like just go crazy. I don't know how anti-cheat works. I'm an armchair dev. I literally just play games. I don't know anything about making them or anything like that. But oh man, this week was a very tough week for me personally. Probably one of my worst weekends ever. Not like my worst ever. I think I had my worst ever either last week or the week before that. But yeah, it was a maldy week. So let me know in the comments below if you guys guys had a good time or enjoyed your weekend. If you did, I'd be very surprised. I've seen some people enjoyed it, but you know, I think if you play in flawless pool on like Sunday or Monday, you're probably gonna have a really malty time. So anyway, I love you guys very much. I appreciate every single one of you watching the videos. If you've made it to this point, mind you. But in general, I appreciate all of you watching my videos, watching my streams, supporting me in these very dark times to be a Destiny content creator, because everyone's numbers are down, like 30%. And that, I mean, that stuff does hit home, man. Like, I do this for a living, and this is how I pay for everything, you know, that I pay for. So I appreciate every single one of you, like, seriously, keeping me afloat in these dark times. And I cannot wait for Destiny content to be on the uptrend. So anyway, I will see you all in the next one. I love you all very much. Peace out.